Have you ever wanted a player like this at point guard for you in my career? Well, look no further. No, 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 no. Not literally. But if you still want an overpowered point guard build, you've come to the right place. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy VISO, and I'm coming at y'all with this new build video. Now, in my opinion, this point guard build is probably the most dominant point guard build in the entire game. It's a little underused in my opinion. I'm surprised more people haven't made this type of build, but it is a very versatile and dominant build. It's not as explosive as my previous build that I made a video on, because that can go off for like 50 to 60 like any given game easily, as long as you can get the right offense and score properly. But this build is very versatile and it can do a lot of different things on the court, and that's why I really like this build. Alright y'all, so now we're in the My Player Builder. Let's get down to business. So the position of this build is obviously a point guard, as this is the most dominant point guard build in the game. Hand doesn't matter, you can make it left or right. I made it left, I think. Jersey number doesn't matter, but since it's a mini Giannis build, might as well make it 34, just to make it 34. I don't know. So let's continue. Now, in my opinion, the most dominant pie chart for a point guard is the pure playmaker pie chart. Now hold on, I need to explain something. See, most people would say a two-way slashing playmaker is more dominant than this, but there's a certain thing I do in this build's like creation that makes it more dominant than that, in my opinion. Okay, so for the physical profile, you want to pick the one with either the most speed or the most vertical. I personally went with the most speed because I just want to be super fast on the court, but this isn't a bad option. So let's pick this one. Now when we're setting the potential, things get a bit difficult if you do it wrong, so you need to set it properly so you get the right build. Alright y'all, so now when we look at the attributes, it's a specific way you wanna deal them out. Alright, so this is how I would do it. Alright, so for finishing, you want to max out your close shot, max out your driving layup, and max out your driving dunk. Now you get 11 finishing, right? You want to lower your close shot a little bit until like it's the lowest you can have while having 11 finishing. So that's what you want to do. Alright, now for shooting, you want to max out your mid-range, max out your three, and max out your free throw, and get your post fade up to a point where it's 15 shooting badges, so 74 post fade. Okay, so for playmaking, you want to get a 95 ball handle with a 79 pass accuracy. Now you want to value ball handle over pass accuracy because this impacts your speed with ball, and you want that to be as high as possible. Alright, okay, so for defense, the first two attributes you want to max before anything are the two most important attributes for any guard on defense, and that is perimeter defense and lateral quickness. Next, the most important thing after that is steal, so you want to max that out. Now after maxing these out, you got 60 attribute upgrades left. Now what gets you the most defensive badges is maxing out interior defense, and then your rebounding. That gets you 10 defensive upgrades for your badges. Alright, okay, so now you have one attribute upgrade remaining. You want to just put that on pass accuracy or post fade or something like that. That doesn't really impact much, so yeah, this is the attribute distribution. You just want to get 11 finishing, 15 shooting, 20 playmaking, and 10 defensive. And this is why I said this build is so versatile. Alright, but that's not the best part about it. We're gonna get to that soon. Now body build for this type of build does not really matter, so I'm gonna just go with the default one right here, defined. Now this part is crucial. Alright, you gotta make the build 6'5". Okay, now 6'5" might lower your driving layup a little bit, but it does boost your driving dunk, which is very helpful, and it boosts your interior defense even though you didn't upgrade that, and your rebounding goes up, so you're really a threat to grab those defensive boards. Yeah, so that makes it a lot of your important attributes really good. Next, for the weight, you want to make him default weight, honestly, because you leave him at default weight, you still get the 95 speed and 95 acceleration, but if you increase the weight, you lose acceleration, decrease the weight, you lose strength, and you barely gain any vertical. So I'd really just keep it a default. This is probably the best option. So yeah. Okay, so this is the most key aspect of this build that makes this build very, very dominant. So what most people would do when making this build is make a minimum wingspan so they can get the best shooting and be a versatile shooter and slasher. But realistically, you just turn your meter off and get a good jump shot you can time and it's quick. That's not really a problem. Your shooting percentage goes up by like I think 4% according to 2K Labs without your meter on. So yeah, I mean, if you just turn off your meter and learn a jump shot with this build, it's very, very helpful. So now what you want to do is max the wingspan so you get those extendo arms, and your three-pointer is still a 72 at 95 or whenever you max it. Before you get to 99 or before you get to 96, it's a 72, but when you get to 99.9, that becomes a 77 three-pointer. That is insane. Alright, but also if you get a 91 ball handle at 95, right, and you get a +5 to that at 99.9, you're gonna have a 96 ball handle with a maximum speed. Your speed with ball is gonna be off the charts. You're gonna be quick running around the court. So also another good thing about this is your defense is incredible with this. You're in them lanes constantly. You can bait so many passes so easily, and you're just harassing people, and you can really press them up the court with this build. Considering you're not one of those like low defensive badge builds, that's a very viable option. So here's another important part of making your build, and it is choosing the takeover. Now honestly, every single one of these takeovers serves like a purpose. You know, if you want to pick lock takeover, you could really lock down the opposing team's best ball handler, and you won't need an extra lockdown to do that for you. Alright, if you pick slasher, you just go in the paint, rim run whenever you get takeover and just dunk on people, and they're gonna be forced to help. If you get playmaker takeover, you can rim run, you can break ankles, you can kick out, and your passes become like really good, and they give your teammates a huge boost to their shooting percentages. And even shot creator takeover, you can snap ankles off space creator type of moves even without the badge, and it's really good for creating space off the dribble, and it's very useful for this type of build that likes to, you know, rim run a lot. But you can also step back and shoot. You feel me? You can just break someone's ankles off a space creator move, gather your feet and shoot by the time they like gather their feet and get up. So all of these are really good. I think I picked shot creator on mine because I made this build a very long time ago. I think it was like 4 months ago when I made this build, but I feel like slasher would be the most effective with most people's playstyles because they like to rim run a lot with this build, you know, get hop step dunks and whatever. This is really a good ISO build that can go to the paint and it can shoot and do everything. Now the player comparisons say you're similar to Derrick Rose, Westbrook, and Ja Morant. Now that's not entirely wrong, but you know, obviously I was saying this is like Giannis in a point guard's body, which it really is because you got long arms, can slash, can shoot a little bit. You know, it's a very all-around build. So obviously you won't say Giannis because you're not 6'11". You know, that's not possible in my career at point guard. But this is a very, very good build, and yeah, let's get into the badges. Alright, so for this, you obviously want to max out your player. These are your attributes at 95. Pretty good. Now, when we get into the badges, some of these badges are really important to have, and some are quite overrated. So I'm gonna tell you exactly how I would lay out these badges, and you guys can go from there and decide how you would lay out your badges. Now, for finishing badges, it's very important to have contact finisher on gold because this build can in fact get contact dunks at I believe 99 overall, and at 99.9 you can get the elite contact dunks or whatever they're called. So this is a very important badge to have on this build. Next, you want to have fancy footwork gold, you want slithery finisher gold, and you also want something like acrobat gold or silver, sorry, or even I don't know, consistent finisher, pro touch. It's really up to you what you want to do with these last 2 or 3 badge points, because you could also put fancy footwork on silver and just move around that last badge point, put this on gold or whatever. But this is how I would do it. It's completely up to you how you would do it. But yeah, that's finishing for me. Now when it comes to shooting, you definitely have to have quick draw and range extender gold, no question. You also have to have hot zone hunter gold, because this really helps with your shooting and makes you a threat on the perimeter. Now when it comes to green machine, I think green machine is quite an overrated badge. I'm not saying you don't need it at all, but I would recommend putting it on bronze. I wouldn't put it any higher, because realistically the percentage of a boost it gives you from bronze to like gold is not very large, so you should be able to make do with it on bronze. If that, I mean, you might be able to make do without it at all, but I just recommend putting it on bronze just to be safe. Next, I'd put Deadeye on gold. This is a very useful badge. It just gives you that confidence to shoot even when you're not sure if it's going to be a wide open or even like 25% contested. This just gives you that confidence to shoot, and it's a very helpful badge. The last badge I'd put on is either volume shooter or maybe clutch shooter. If you know you're going to be playing like an intense pro-am game, I wouldn't really recommend it. I'd probably put on volume shooter or maybe tireless shooter, but I'm leaning towards volume shooter with the silver. And that's a very good badge, because it doesn't have to be jump shots that you're shooting to get that badge to activate. You could take layups and dunks too, from what I know, so that's a very useful badge as well. Yeah, that's all I got for shooting. Now when it comes to playmaking, there are 2 badges that you really need. That's quick first step and handles for days Hall of Fame. Those are necessities at Hall of Fame. Next, you want to put unpluckable on bronze, because I really feel like unpluckable Hall of Fame and unpluckable bronze aren't a huge difference. Bronze, you know, you still get plugged. Hall of Fame, you still get plugged. So I mean, you might as well just put it on bronze to give you a little more ball security than not having it at all. So yeah. Tight handles was very effective when the behind the back was in the game, but now that it's removed, I would recommend having it on bronze or silver. So I'll just put it on bronze right here. And then after that, you want to get dimer on Hall of Fame, so you can just help your teammates shoot if they're not, you know, the best shooters. You want to get bailout bronze, needle threader about silver, I think. And then with your 3 remaining badges, you could put that on like space creator or ankle breaker, or a combination of both if you want. I'll probably put it on ankle breaker, but I don't know, it's really up to you. I'll just put it on space creator for now. But yeah, this is playmaking. The first 17 badges should be like concrete, but the last 3 badge upgrades, they're a bit fluid. You could just pick whatever you want. Now on to the part that puts this build over the top. Not only do you have max wingspan with this build, so you automatically are above average defender, you get 10 defensive badges, as opposed to some of these guards that are like 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", with like 2 to like 6 defensive badges. This puts you over the top. So first things first, you want to get gold clamps. You also want to get silver intimidator. You want bronze interceptor. Right now, the explanation for these is clamps gives you a lot of bump animations, and most people won't blow right past you as if you didn't have it. So gold clamps is really helpful on the perimeter whenever you're trying to guard a quick guard or whatever. Intimidator, that just really helps with making people miss layups if you have bad defensive position. I personally don't like this badge, but since it's in the game, you gotta adapt and use it. According to 2K Labs, I think silver is pretty good if you can't get a Hall of Fame. Now interceptor, this helps a lot with getting in the passing lanes. The difference between interceptor and not having it at all is huge, and I feel like it really helps with getting in the passing lanes. Next, I would recommend putting on bronze pick dodger, because even if you're like not guarding ball, you should have this, because if they try and abuse you, you should be able to dodge some screens and, you know, fight through them a little bit. Also, I would put tireless defender on bronze. Pickpocket doesn't really work in my opinion, so I might as well just put Tireless Defender on bronze. If you want, you could put Pickpocket on bronze as well, but my last two defensive upgrades are going to Chase Down Artist and Rim Protector. Now, Bronze Rim Protector allows you to get snatch blocks, but that coupled with Chase Down Artist, that lets you be a really dominant defensive player, especially in like the full court setting where you're behind someone and you're trying to chase it down and pin it against the backboard or something. These two badges work really well and are really useful. So yeah, that's defense, and that's basically all my badges right there. Alright y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I promise y'all I made this build a while ago. I just didn't have the cameras on, so it's not like I was trying to hide this build from you. I just made YouTube like a little while ago, so yeah, I'm showing y'all this build. I really like this build. It's very dominant and versatile, and I like builds like that. So you know, try this build out. You don't got to be max badges to be very effective. You could be effective with a low amount of badges as well. That's what I like about this build. You can get this badged out online, so you don't have to grind against AIs for hours. Other than that, I don't have much else to say. This is the video. Hope y'all enjoyed the video and the build. Yeah, it's been your boy Via ISO, and I'm out.